LGD becoming first-time TI winners? Or are we going to get an all-TI final TI final? You know what I mean by that? They've all played in the TI final before. Yeah. I had to clear that one up though. So it's a mildly confusing statement as these gents will get themselves settled. We'll get some more thoughts in just a moment from our intrepid crew here on the panel. But first of all, let's check in with LGD as they spoke to Casey pre-tournament.
Starting to play with a little bit of hesitation.
Oh, for sure. You can see even just with the item choice, Lifestealer going Heart and Butterfly, no MKB, like you'd have no Abyssal, the damage output just slowed down, and in addition, they just didn't seem confident sieging the base, and if there's anything you got to do at this level of Dota 2, it's play to win the game. Tidehunter first pick from Liquid, you got to look at Rubik as a follow-up from PSG LGD.
Yeah, Tidehunter, I want to talk about this hero because between these two teams, they are 7-0 with Tidehunter at the main event. So what better hero, I think, for Liquid would you want to going into the game decider?
Yeah, and you mentioned Rubik, Kyle. I know that this is a hero that is definitely always a talking point up here at TI, one of the most picked heroes of all time. Hello, Rubik. No stranger to this guy, and also you were talking about how important he really was in Game 2.
Of course, we talked about transcendent players, and after the first game, FY with an incredible performance, GH, no slouch, arguably even better, undefeated so far in this grand lower bracket final, and I am jittery right now. It feels like a grand final. Like we're all just watching on the stage. The crowd is going absolutely nuts.
Well, I mean, you just look at how huge this game really is. When you look at this team and how much pressure is going to be on them when you're in an arena filled with what? I think it's 18,000 people here today watching LGD. This is who they want to win. If they don't make it, I think it's the first time since TI3 that there hasn't been a Chinese team in the grand final. It's a lot of pressure on these folks right now. I think it's pretty understandable how maybe we start to see TI4, Kyle. I think it's pretty clear how you can see that hesitation come into play. Kyle, stop holding up random numbers.
We've talked about the pressure, and we saw in the player cam before this game started that we was playing in the practice lobby doing Blink Meld Strikes with TA, and throughout the draft book, just pick what you know you're going to play your best game on. And a hero that we've pretty much seen exclusively 9th, 10th this entire tournament, including the group stage, suddenly a first-round TA. Obviously very good against Rubik ET. Neither of those supports really threaten you that hard. You jump on ET in the back lines, which is like a really important thing to do when you have this ET counter initiation. But damn, to have the balls the first round of TA.
But this is what they did at their best performance at a major this year, right? Going back to Disneyland Paris. They were always comfortable just taking Wii's hero early on. He's a TA, a Wind Ranger, a Meepo, Tinker. These are his comfort heroes. And if you think about the rest of the Liquid lineup, Miracle and Mind Control they are incredible at such a large array of heroes. I think that they're the ones that you would want to have that versatility that you get at the end of a draft.
Now, I also do want to talk about that stress that's coming into play. You guys obviously talk about being on a comfort hero, having that ease of execution in your back pocket as well. But let's just look at the tournament runs for these guys. Obviously, we have a lot of experience up on the main stage. Even when you look on the side of Kuro, the most games played out of any player in the history of TI. He broke 200, passed Puppey after eliminating him. I think Puppey only got to 198, so very, very close there. But you look at what their tournaments look like. LGD never really had the pressure on them. They had a fantastic run through the winner's side of the bracket. Liquid has been in the flames the entire tournament.
And this is a situation they've been in before.
Yep.
They have been up against elimination in the lower bracket multiple times, and they know that at the end of that journey back at TI7, they were the inevitable grand champions. PSG LGD, it's a different story. Like, you don't have that same belief that in the end maybe you'll persevere, you'll win that title. You don't have that same comfort that you've been there before. This is great. I think that the Rubik, though, you've got to be feeling good if you're FY. Like, if you're a PSG LGD fan, if you're just a Dota fan, if there was a hero you want to see him on in Game 3, it's this one.
And I just want to say that up until that last game, LGD's only 2 losses on the main stage were to Alchemist. And in your mind, maybe you think to yourself, maybe we just kind of give away this one hero. They felt kind of like you couldn't touch them. And up until that last game where they had, in our opinion, a draft advantage, they had all the momentum. This almost reminds me of Game 4 of TI8 Grand Finals, where it's in your hands. You're there. And suddenly...
Yeah. And, dude, that's a perfect point, because as you said, have been there. They were this close to winning TI. They were this close to making a second consecutive grand final. And it really, like, we thought it was over. It looked over. And just, if there's anything that kills you in this game, it's hesitation. It's the same in life. You've got to act. And just a couple minutes of mistakes, and all of a sudden, Liquid have a chance to come from behind and in what would be one of the more incredible series turnarounds I've ever. They pick a Rasta, one of the hard counters to Void. We saw Lion picked up by PSG LGD almost as a pre-counter pick, because you want to have those double lockdown Hex Disable heroes to be able to kill 100-0 the elusive core.
Now, something that Kyle brought up even earlier in the draft is the idea once we get to this portion of picks and you see that third pick get locked in.
Oh,
wow, that's big.
Jesus, into TA, BSJ.
This matchup isn't nearly as bad as it used to be since the refraction doesn't work on denies anymore, but I just love it, man. They're just like, give me my best hero. I'm going to style. I feel like SF, out of all the heroes in the mid lane, is I'm going to style on you. That's exactly what he's going to say, and I couldn't imagine going out any better way or making it to the grand finals any better way.
I was going to ask with the third picks what it looked like they wanted to do to win, what win conditions they were trying to shape up. Now we're going to have a whole lot of information, Kyle, and actually get to peer into what they're trying to put together.
So Liquid have this cool concept coming together. You've got tools to acquire vision with the TA traps. You've got massive team fight both to initiate and the combo breaker now with the Wyvern. You can be able to heal a target that gets chronoed and potentially Wyvern ulti through BKB to just deal with the PSG LGD team fight. They also have the initiator of the roster, so it's a very balanced composition. PSG LGD, I think BSJ said it best, like, this is a lineup built to style on you. The maybe SF, the FY Rubik, like Ame Void, like these are heroes in the top 3 for these players on every single position.
You talk about styling on them. Is this the game that you want to come out and try to style after you just looked like you were hesitating?
Hey man, it's like Kobe said, doesn't matter how many shots I miss, I still want the ball. That's what a champion's mentality is.
What TI did he play in?
He played in a couple more, I'd say, financially important tournaments than TI, but
that's not true.
That's actually false.
Are you crazy?
Hey, you know,
it's the largest tournament in the history of esports. Dota's been around for 16 years. This is still the biggest it's ever been.
I'm not going to touch that one, Kyle. But I just want to say that if you still have the confidence, like I don't think the way to the solution to losing your confidence in game 2 is to suddenly hesitate on your picks. At least if you go out there and say, I am going to play this hero to the fullest that I can, and like this is my favorite hero to play. I think game 5 of last year's TI Grand Finals said that the most about OG's lineup. None of them were counter picks. None of them were straight up just, this is the best hero for the game. This is my best hero for the game. And I do want to say that LGD, I like the way that each team is playing fights here. You pick the Void against Tide so that you can initiate through the Kraken Shell. Then you pick the Wyvern to save the Tide. Yep. And now you have a second hero that's willing to get chronoed. TA has Blink, so she's hard to be chronoed. It's a very hard Void game.
They needed that last pick to be something that could get down and dirty in the team fight. Now you have a Wraith King that can tank the chrono. One of the better counters to SF as well, because as you respawn, that damage reduction on the SF ulti would be negated. It disappears once you respawn. And now I honestly don't know what the last pick is here for PSG LGD. It's a tough spot.
Hey, I mean, you look at this final pick from Liquid, it's basically budget Alk, right? I think that's one of the... And when you know how strong Alk has been in this current meta, even the budget version, it's going to do just fine.
Yeah. You've got a couple point-and-click stunts and the huge team fight heroes, the Wyvern side. They're covered now. They can play more leisurely on the outskirts of the fights. It's much harder for the PSG LGD heroes to find them in the back lines. And you've got to think this is an Ame Void, but it is possibly Chalice's hero. He's been on point in this series so far. 30 seconds left.
I know it's in a tie, but how crazy to just do the signature Chalice Batrider, right? Like I know we haven't seen him much, but like it's really good against everything but the Tide. It lanes well. Okay, we go for the Darkseer.
All right. Really cool.
You like this, BSJ?
It's more team fight. It makes chronos easier to play. You have like this team fight aura builder now. Previously, none of their cores or supports wanted to build these enabling items for the rest of their team, so I think it fits their draft well, and it's good against TA.
You've got better team fight on Liquid. PSG LGD had to find some way to ensure they would be able to find and take skirmishes. They don't necessarily want 5-on-5s, they want pickoffs. They don't want to have to use chrono to get kills. This activates the Void so we can stick to a target without having to blow the big team fight cooldown.
This is going to be the lineup for each team that is going to decide whether or not they're going to be able to make it to the grand final. This is going to be the game. that will seal their fate, and the implications are huge as to what the story of TI9 is. Are we going to get that back-to-back champion? Are we going to see some new faces in this crowd here in Shanghai? Kyle, I'm gonna put you on the spot here based off the draft. What's your prediction?
Oh God, I can't. I refuse to participate. All right, I have no idea. I just want to see another incredible game of Dota 2. You talk about storylines. PSG, the last Chinese team remaining. We are here in China. They've got 20,000 people behind them. The booths are alive. This is one of those moments where, win or lose, you're just happy you were here. And I know that whatever team ends up out of this, you're not going to feel in the moment. But this is something, you know, kids are watching at home dreaming about this. Yeah. You train your whole life to be here.
I can't be more happy that Kyle chose not to give a prediction, because nobody at home wants to know what team is going to lose this best of 3. And I want to say that there's so much team fight, wombo combo. I cannot wait to see this last game.
All right, the wombo combos may be coming on in. Before we get into the game, let's hear what Casey has to say.
All right, I want to ask you about the Shadow Fiend pick. The crowd went wild. It seems like a, go big or go home kind of a pick. What can you tell us about that?
你们选了一个影魔嘛，然后当时观众也是沸腾了，然后就想看一下你选这个是出于什么考虑？
因为我们的影魔很自信可以打 TA， 然后觉得这版配合的就是比较好发挥。
Because we have a lot of confidence in our Shadow Fiend in going against TA, we feel that he is going to be able to really carry us in terms of combining with the rest of our lineup.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Confidence in the maybe SF, confidence in LGD. You would think it'd be shaken after game 2. Over 30,000 was actually it was a 60,000 swing. It was a 30,000 advantage that LGD had and lost.
Did they have 30K last game?
It was 30K last game. It was up a long way. Might have just been the experience, but it was definitely an advantage, pretty damn high. But here we go for game 3. Darkseer appears once again. It seems the only teams that are playing this, it's like you were saying, like OG played it and Liquid have played it, and now LGD played it. Only the top 3 have played it here at TI.
And that's the kind of thing it takes. If you want to get top 3, you need to be able to get creative, you need to be able to adapt, come up with new stuff and execute it properly. And well, Chalice has definitely had some great Darkseer performances in the past, so he's no stranger to this hero. We were considering Batrider as well, similar to BSJ. We were talking about how that could also be a Chalice option. But they do want to have the better scaling teamfight aura carrying offlaner. And it's going to be the exact same lane as Liquid played last game.
I'm loving this between Mind Control and X-Nova. If it's a dodger round to get the 3rd bounty rune for Team Liquid, X-Nova will TP out. Mind Control will get a little extra information for that one. And we have ourselves not an aggro train lane. FY, Rubik back again. We'll be down on the bottom lane to work with Mind Control. But Weeha, it's already opening up strongly from Somnus. Burn the Mango. Don't care about the souls at the very beginning. Let's just beat the crap out of Weeha, who went side plates first, while Kuro, top lane, drops insanely low. And the CT Spirit, it loves defensive tri lanes.
He paid respect to Miracle there. He was worried about getting run down. Okay,
Here's your blast again. You have the Ether Shock, heavy amount of damage. Chalice, low on life this time around. He's not playing a hero with a huge stomp. He's got a hero with a huge amount of damage. X-Nova just stands his ground and wants to keep fighting. Ether Shock's coming off cooldown in a second. Chalice hanging around, but Miracle, he's got another Raid Fire Blast to work with, and X-Nova will be brought down. Miracle in the safe lane is able to get first blood. And I look towards his offlaner. That's Mind Control. Got himself a creep wave and a half. He's loving this. He's even going to drag it as far safe as possible because Ame is trying to bring his own creep wave and a half over. But the two shall not combine.
This is a lot of experience for MC. He's going to be grabbing it now. FY is doing the best he can to harass, but he will not be successful in forcing Mind Control away from this wave.
Problem is
bring it into tower.
Mind Control can't hold it between the towers, which is probably what he wanted to do. Just change the momentum of the wave. Ame has 3 waves on bottom lane. He's got 5-3 CS right now, but there's a lot more sitting down there waiting for him.
Yep. Now he needs to make sure he doesn't miss too many CS in the tower, but this is a very experienced carry player. They never miss CS.
Don't put that... No.